you a small story. Vedavyasa was teaching spirituality to his 4 disciples, Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini and Sumantu. These were his 4 disciples. He had one more disciple called Romaharshana. But that particular Romaharshana was not an authorized disciple that way. So, inside the hut there used to be only these 4 disciples called Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini, Sumantu. And Romaharshana was basically an outcast. He was a Sutaputra. He was the son of a charioteer. So, he was not authorized to have a direct Vedic knowledge from the teacher. But Vyasa, out of his compassion, has told Romaharshana to sit outside the hut and keep on listening to the same teaching. In fact, Vyasa himself named Romaharshana as Romaharshana. One day when Vyasa came out of the hut, he was seeing this boy listening to all the lessons that were happening inside the hut. And he called and asked this boy, "What is your name?" Then he told, "I am a Sutaputra," means I am a son of a charioteer. I will not have any specific name. But then Vyasa observed that boy's body had goosebumps. That we call it as Romanchana or Romaharshana in Sanskrita. After listening to Vyasa's speech, the boy was having goosebumps. Then Vyasa named him as Romaharshana. And he told him, "From now on, you are also my disciple. Keep on listening to my teachings." So these were Vyasa's 5 disciples. And Vyasa had given the partitions of the Veda into each of them. Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini, Sumantu as Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharva Veda. Now when this philosophical discussion was going on, one day Vyasa told to his disciples that it is very difficult to overcome the effects of Maya, or it is very difficult to overcome the effects of the bondage, and it is not so easy to break the bondage and to have liberation that way. Now, Jaimini told to Vedavyasa, "How is it not possible? You are a great guru to us. We are your great disciples. And that can be the case with the other normal beings, not with us. You are a Brahmarshi and we are your disciples. And why do you say that it is very difficult for anyone to overcome the effects of bondage or overcome the effects of Maya or illusion?" Vyasa told, "Do you think you can overcome the effects of bondage or Maya?" Jaimini told, "Why not? I am your disciple. Why do you think that I also will be caught up in bondage or caught up in Maya? If that is the case, all your years of teaching and all our years of learning is a total waste of time." Now again Vyasa told, "Even though there is this much of teaching and learning, still I say that it is very difficult to overcome the effects of bondage or Maya." Jaimini told, "I don't agree with that. I can always overcome the effects of Maya or bondage." Vyasa simply smiled at him. And that day's class ended. And in general, when the class ends, at Vyasa's hut, Vyasa sleeps. And around Vyasa's hut, there are other huts. In each hut, each individual disciple sleeps. Paila, Vaishampayana, Jaimini, Sumantu, they used to have their own individual cottages or huts. So Jaimini went back to his hut. And nightfall happened. After some time, suddenly rain started coming. When rain started coming, heavy rain was coming and Jaimini was inside the hut. Suddenly, in front of Jaimini's hut, one young lady came there. And the young lady was drenched in the rain. Her body was totally wet. Now Jaimini saw her from outside, and out of his own compassion, Jaimini called her inside. Because Jaimini saw her, she was completely drenched in water. So he told her, don't stay outside, rain is more, come inside and have a comfortable sitting here. But then that lady told, young woman, she told, I am a Dasi Putri. I am the daughter of a servant. And you are the disciple of Vyasa. How can I come inside your hut? Now Jaimini told, don't bring caste here. We are great disciples of Vyasa, and I am also a great disciple of Vyasa. We don't differentiate people taking their caste as such. Now you will be sick if you remain drenched in the rain. You can come inside. And she came inside. When she came inside, she was totally wet. And there was a small lamp burning inside the Jaimini's hut. When Jaimini saw her totally wet, Jaimini, out of his own compassion, told her, I will give you some fresh dry clothes. Change your clothes here. If you remain wet there, again you will become sick. And then this young lady told, I am a woman, you are a man, and this is a single room here, single hut here. How can I change my clothes in front of you? Again Jaimini told, don't worry, I am the great disciple of Vedavyasa, and I have conquered all my instincts. And you don't have to worry about me. I will give you fresh dry clothes and you change your dress here. And he gave different dry clothes, and the lady started changing her dress there. When she started changing her dress there, her naked body was glistening in the lamp's light, and suddenly Jaimini had an instinct coming out as a desire. Without Jaimini's own knowledge, his manhood or malehood surfaced, and the Jaimini became attracted towards the lady. But again, Jaimini's intellect was telling that I should not be stuck under this desire. I should not become a slave of this desire. But as he was seeing her naked body, she was quite beautiful, and looking at her beautiful body, he somehow developed this desire. And gradually, Jaimini, after a few minutes, once she completed wearing the dress fully, Jaimini was completely engrossed with this desire, and Jaimini casually asked this young woman that, are you married? She said, no, I am not married. Now Jaimini directly asked, will you marry me? Because by looking at you, I am developing this desire. I want to have you. I want to have the contact of your body. But me being Vyasa's disciple cannot have a direct contact with the lady. As you are not married, will you marry me? Now she told, you just now told that you are great Vedavyasa's disciple, and you just now told you have conquered all your instincts. What is that which made you to tell me this way that you want to marry me? Now Jaimini told, even though I told all that at that time, you know that you are a beautiful woman, and I am also a man. I am a scholar also, and I can take care of you very well. Why don't you become my wife? If you agree, I will marry you. Now that young woman told, I have a condition now. If at all you want me to marry you, if I have to give you my permission, then you have to carry me on your shoulders and you have to come around your hut 3 times. You will have to circumambulate the hut 3 times, and then after the 3rd time, I will come inside, and then we can have the marriage on our own way. Anyhow, there is a sacred fire in your hut. Around the fire, we can have Agni Sakshi Vivaha. And Jaimini said, okay, that is the condition, that I'll have to carry you on my shoulders and I'll have to circumambulate this hut 3 times. Fine, I am a strong man, I'll carry you. And Jaimini agreed. And Jaimini sat down. The young woman climbed on top of his shoulders, and Jaimini stood up and he started going around the hut. One round was over, and the Jaimini was holding the young woman's legs, 2 feet, through his own hands, and he was going around. The legs were so soft and so comfortable. After one round, when the second round was happening, Jaimini felt as if the legs are becoming stiffer, and whatever was the warmth he was having with the same legs, now that warmth is not happening with the same young woman's legs. This was during the second round. During the third round, Jaimini felt as if there are many long hairs in those legs. Earlier, those many long hairs were not there. Suddenly, he felt the legs have become stiff and the legs are having lot of hairs. Jaimini was thinking, what is going on? I was carrying a very young, beautiful woman, and how come this is now this way? And after the third round, Jaimini sat down and he told the young woman to alight from his shoulders. And when the young woman alighted from the shoulders of Jaimini, Jaimini stood up and he, seeing there was no young woman, it was Vedavyasa himself. And Vedavyasa was smiling and laughing at Jaimini. And Vedavyasa was telling, what man, you are telling that you being my disciple, you will conquer the effects of bondage, right? You will conquer all your instincts, right? What happened to you? You said that people like you and people like me will never be under the hold of Maya. But what happened to you? It was Vedavyasa himself, out of his own yoga siddhi. He had assumed that form of young lady and he had come to test Jaimini. Now Jaimini understood what his guru was telling, that it is not easy even to a Brahmajnani to lose the Maya's effects. Even a Brahmajnani, so to say, even a yogi can become a bhogi, and that way he can become a rogi, unless a yogi becomes a tyagi. So this is a story which indicates how people can become victimized because of their own desires, which is basically psychological needs. That is what Mahatma Gandhi used to say, this earth has everything for a man's need, but not sufficient for a man's greed. All of us have these basic needs met, or even if the basic needs are not met, we can keep on working for our basic needs.